Gavel. We will call the Government Oversight Committee of July 7th to order. If you will rise, we will pledge the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next item on the agenda is adoption of agenda.
Support by Nard.
I have a motion by Commissioner Romano, supported by Commissioner Nard. Any questions on the adoption of the agenda? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Crystal will be calling out the vote counts because we're having a little technical difficulty with our screen. Thank you, Crystal. Next item is approval of a meeting minutes dated June 2nd, 2021. Motion to approve.
Approved by Nard.
Support Farrington.
Motion by Nard, supported by Farrington. Any discussion on the meeting minutes? If not, please vote.
Motion passes 13-0.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is our first of two public hearings. This is the first opportunity for public participations for those who wish to speak for a maximum of 3 minutes on any item which is on today's agenda. Second opportunity for public participation is for those who wish to speak on any issue. Do we have anyone from the public wishing to speak? Seeing none, we will close public participation. Next item is appointment interviews. First is 6A, Civil Service Commission Executive Appointment with Board Concurrence. We have one vacancy, 6-year term to expire on December 31st, 2026. David C. Daniels is the name. Is he present?
That'd be me.
That was quick.
Good
Go
afternoon.
ahead, sir. Floor is yours.
Good afternoon, Board. My name's Dave Daniels. I appreciate the opportunity to address you today in regards to my application to become a member of the Macomb County Civil Service Commission. Some of my background includes I'm a veteran, Macomb County, veteran of the United States Marine Corps, 6 years, retired in 1988, was hired at the Sheriff's Office in February of 1988, 32-year career, retired in January of 2021. During the course of my career, held several positions, corrections officer, deputy sheriff, was a road commander, shift command, both on the road and in the jail. Also was a dispatch supervisor for a period of time, was promoted to lieutenant. As a lieutenant, I did sit as a representative for the Sheriff's Office and attended our civil service meetings at that time. Also held some positions in undercover capacity with auto theft and with narcotics teams. I was promoted to captain in April of 2016. In that position, I was a division commander of uniformed services and also of investigative services. During my career, like I said, I attended as a Sheriff's Office representative, civil service meetings. One of the requirements of a member of the Civil Service Commission is that I do not hold any elective office at this time, never have, and I am not a member, or do I sit on any political action committees at this time. As all you're probably well aware, the Civil Service Commission Act of 298 was adopted in 1966, and it maintains a board that assist the sheriff with hiring processes to make sure that all the requirements of the job are fulfilled. So with that, I'll answer any questions that you have.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for Mr. Daniels? Seeing none, I thank you for your presentation and being here today.
Chairman, I'll
Yes,
make
sir.
a motion to, this is an executive appointment with board concurrence. I'll make a motion to appoint Daniel C. Daniels to the Office of Civil Service Commission.
Support
Second.
by Nard.
You're making the motion to refer this to full board, is that correct?
I think that's what we should be doing, is that correct?
That's correct. Thank you.
Second, Zinner.
I have a motion by Commissioner Romano, seconded by Commissioner Zinner. Any discussion on the motion? Not, please vote. This is to refer to full board.
Motion passes 13-0.
Thank you. Next item is 6B, Veterans Affairs Commission Board Appointment, one vacancy, 4-year term to expire on July 31st, 2005. We have 3 names, Wayne Connor, Manuel Gonzalez, and Dorian Mitchell. Are any of them present? Please come to the microphone.
Sir, Manny Gonzalez.
Thank you. Is there anything you'd like to say?
I have been living in Macomb County for just a little over 10 years now. I transferred here from Davenport, Iowa, where I worked at the Rock Island Arsenal. I'm a product of the BRAC, which brought me here, and I'm a firm believer in getting involved in my community. I am on the beautification board of the city of Sterling Heights, and I made desks for the kids during the pandemic. Was I on national news? No, but I was recognized by the Kennedy Center Performing Arts in Washington, D.C. under their Small Projects program, which is something I'm very proud of. I am retired from active duty. I retired in 1995. I have numerous deployments under my belt. I was a combat medic. I never worked in a hospital. I always worked in the field with the soldiers. So when they were living in the dirt, I was living in the dirt. When they were driving the track, I was driving the track. My current position at TACOM is assisting in developing a new tank for the soldiers. So my commitment to veterans and active duty soldiers continue now to this day. So that's how committed I am for veterans and today's war fighters. So I did it in my active duty life. I'm doing it in my private life. And not just the war fighters, again, in my community. After I retired, I moved to Davenport, Iowa, a city I really never lived in. And following the news and following the current events of that time, I saw that they were going under some urban development. Well, I didn't like the direction that the city was going. So I threw my name in the hat to be a city alderman, something I've never done before, had no experience whatsoever. I utilized the resources of my friends and family who lived in that city, read books, talked to other local councilmen on the nature of the environment, and I gave it a shot. I lost, but I tried. So, do I have all the answers? No. That's why I work with subject matter experts. So, that's all I have right now, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your service to our country.
Thank you.
Any questions? None? Thank you. Next, I'm assuming that's Wayne back there.
Dory.
Dory? Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Dory, would you hit the microphone button, the red button there? There you go. Thank you.
Can you hear me? Yes, you can. First of all, I want to ask you to excuse my attire. I know I had been communicating with Ms. Richardson over the last few days or so, trying to figure out if I was going to be able to make it here. I work at a psychiatric hospital, and a lot of the cases we have on the unit that I work on are high profile, somewhat very violent. And being one of the not senior staff, but one of the more seasoned staff, I was brought in to be more of a mitigator to help some of the folks in the unit to be able to manage. So, and I didn't know if I was going to make it, and my shift replacement showed up like 20 minutes ago. So hence, I'm here off of work, right? Thanks for having me. Thanks for inviting me. Myself, I've served 4 years active duty, United States Marine, disabled. I was injured overseas. Since my discharge, I am a graduate of Michigan State University, bachelor's degrees in social, criminal justice, and sociology. For the most part, I would say that my professional career has been dedicated to serving veterans. I started off working at a homeless shelter in Lansing, the agency known as Volunteers of America, working with homeless veterans, dealing with issues with substance use and mental health. I did that for approximately 2.5 years. I was promoted internally. I was able to manage my own program on the southwest corner of Michigan in a city called Niles. As a program manager, I was able to, I guess, as my supervisor would say at the time, I brought some life to the program, finding some funding outside of the VA source, in essence, bringing some attention to the program that was already there, and trying to gather some community resources for veterans sometimes who are not entitled to VA benefits because of their discharge, because of the nature of their discharge. But they are still veterans in most regards, in regards to various agencies. After that, I worked for Children Protective Services. I did that for about 4 or 5 months or so. But Veteran Services was calling my name again. So I came back this way, and I actually ended up working with Mark Meadows at the time. He worked at Michigan Works. I worked off of a grant that was funded by the Department of Labor. It's called the HVRP, Homeless Veteran Reintegration Program. And that grant is structured to help veterans become work ready. There's some assessment in that whole process as well in regards to if they're ready for employment, if there's some mental health issues, substance abuse issues, or whatever resources that they may need at the time to make themselves stable. It was my responsibility to find those things for them. My areas of responsibility were Oakland, Macomb, and Wayne County. At that time, I had a chance to meet, I can't remember her last name. Her first name is Sandy, over at Vets Returning Home, trying to help her get her program started. Then I was pulled again, and I was promoted internally to senior program manager with the Volunteers of America to manage 2 transitional housing facilities programs. One was here in Warren. Matter of fact, it was called we named that place, we changed the name several times. I believe we called it a safe place, and that was for veterans. Safe Haven. Who said that? Yes, I'm sorry. There's so much on my mind right now. I got in the car and sped here. I'm sorry. Safe Haven.
Yes,
Yes.
I know you.
Laura.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm sorry. This is all exciting to me. So
Working with you there.
we work together. So for me, again, I've dedicated most of my professional career to working with veterans. Currently, I'm working on my master's degree in social work with a concentration in mental health and substance use treatment. I'll start my internship at the VA hospital in September, and I'm looking to graduate in April, focusing on co-occurring disorder. Most veterans who are dealing with those issues, they tend to deal with one or the other, the mental health or the substance use, but they play off of each other. So the goal is to try to get folks to focus on both, to help them stabilize, in essence, to the issues that may be causing homelessness, unemployment, or any issues with law enforcement.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's Sandy Bauer.
Sandy
That's
Bauer.
Returning Home.
Yes.
She's a close personal friend of mine. So, and thank you for your service to our country.
Thank you, Harold.
Any questions? Commissioner Farrington.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Mitchell, and by the way, I meant to say this, Mr. Gonzalez, thank you for your service, both of you.
Thank you.
Question I got only because you kind of brought it up, and I saw on another candidate that's unable to be here today, how he's currently in the role and missed a third of the meetings approximately because of the timing of the meetings.
Yes.
And because of you saying how you had a rush to get here.
Yes.
Do you know when the meetings are, and are you able to attend them on a consistent basis?
I can modify my schedule to make sure I'm here. For this occasion, I will say that this was an era of my own. I mistook my shift here for tomorrow.
Okay.
So that's how I ended up here, well, working today.
So you
So that
know,
was human
you know when
error.
the meetings are and you had the flexibility to work.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. I see no other speakers. Motion to refer to full board is in order.
I'll make the motion to refer to full board.
Motion by Commissioner Farrington, seconded by Commissioner Wallace. Please vote.
I'm sorry, what are we voting for?
To refer to full board.
We're not picking one today?
We do it at the full
Okay,
board.
thank you.
You're welcome. You're all set.
Thank you.
I was going to ask, Mr. Chair, if you could explain the process for our candidates that are here.
No, but I can ask Crystal.
Okay? That works too.
They did receive an email explaining that this was an interview opportunity and that the appointment would take place at the full board on the 22nd. And that motion did pass 12-0. Thank you to Commissioner Song for correcting me. We are at 12 today, not 13.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is 7A, full board approval requested at committee, third-party agreement, HNTB Michigan Inc., Innovate Mound Road, total cost $20,589,982.29. County cost $4,117,996.56. Mr. Santo, welcome.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. This is a MDOT agreement, third-party agreement. You had seen something similar to this for the Innovate Mound project for the PE, which is the preliminary engineering for the Innovate Mound project. This third-party agreement deals with the CE, which is the construction engineering, oversight, inspection, and testing, and the design assistance as far as the reviews of the submittals of the design-build team. So this is vetted by Federal Highway, vetted by MDOT and ourselves, and seeking approval of this full board at this committee to move forward with signatures and returns so we can get them to move forward with the CE for the Innovate Mound project. So, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Romano.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Santos, last night on the Sterling Heights City Council, there was a heated debate. I don't know if you happened to catch that or not, or brought it up. Oh, you're smiling. I guess you did see it. So the rest of the
I'm very well aware of it,
commissioners,
yes.
yeah, some of the concerns were, and this would fall under the design, were that there were concerns about sidewalks along Mound Road. And personally, this is my personal opinion, I mean, this is an industrial corridor. And I don't understand what all this heated debate was about. I mean, I don't see too many people walking down an industrial corridor using sidewalks. Could you expound on that a little bit, where we're at, why it was or was not included, or just to give us an idea of where we're at, please?
Yes. So the typical addressing of sidewalks, just as well as lighting and stuff, is truly a community issue, not a Department of Roads issue. As part of our projects, as far as the design and requirements of Federal Highway and state, we have to look at connectivity and environmental considerations. And there were those considerations with this project. So we do have a 8-foot path that's being designed and going to be constructed on the full west side of Mound, going all the way from 696 to Hall Road. That will span both communities contiguously. So the east side deals more with sidewalk. We did rely through the NEPA process, which is an environmental access pedestrian type evaluation of the corridor, and we relied on SEMCOG data, that actual data for pedestrian movements throughout that corridor. So there are segments in both Warren and Sterling Heights where we are making some connectivity where the data shows there's a need for sidewalks on the east side. It did not show a continuous sidewalk need for the entire length of Sterling Heights under their jurisdiction or community. So we are putting, as a matter of fact, I just got some numbers this afternoon, we're putting in about 3 times as much sidewalk on the east side in city of Sterling Heights that we are in Warren. But unfortunately, at this point, they are fixated on wanting continuous sidewalk on the east side, which is truly a community issue as far as the Department of Roads is concerned.
Isn't that funny now? You say it's a community issue, and last night they put it onto the Macomb County saying it was our issue, that they were designing Mound Road and it belongs to Macomb County, and Macomb County should have the sidewalk. Was the information that you just gave to us given to Sterling Heights? Or is that something that you think they should know about, but they don't know? I'm just asking because I know I'm going to get these questions, and I want to make darn sure I'm able to answer them before I go any further. So I want to make sure, I just want to reiterate what you just said. So we're going to go from 11 to 14 on the east side, no, on the west side, I'm sorry, continuance of sidewalk, but it's going to be sporadic on the east side. Does that sound correct?
Correct. There's a continuous non-motorized path, the full length on the west side.
What is a non-motorized path?
It's more than a sidewalk. A sidewalk is typically 5 foot wide.
Right.
This is going to be an 8 foot wide path.
Okay.
So
Cement path?
I believe it's bituminous.
Okay, whatever.
So,
Okay.
But on the east side, Warren has a majority of their sidewalk in place because of their requirements for developers to install sidewalk as part of their development process. That's a requirement that Warren has. Sterling Heights does not have that. Typically, sidewalks are a community issue, just like lighting and stuff like that. So, and yes, they have been discussed with us for numerous months. We just seem to just agree to disagree.
And we all both know that it's an election year, so there will be conversation made. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome, Commissioner.
Thank you. Commissioner Farrington.
Thank you. Now I'm wondering about Utica. Brian, a couple questions. So this is to pay the $20 million for our portion, the $20 million for construction engineering, because the size of the project, Michigan has dumped it on us for this portion because of the size. That's my understanding, correct? Dumping is a poor term, but allocated it to us to take care of.
We have hired a owner's rep, HNTB, to oversee all of the construction engineering, do the design and testing with their subcontractors, basically oversight of the project.
I think you just answered my next question. It's not your team doing it, it's outsourced.
That is correct.
Okay, I was wondering
Yes.
how you had enough team to do it. So
Yes.
that answered it. Thank you very much.
Yes, we have more than enough work to do just with our normal projects for our program annually. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. Commissioner Song.
Thank you, Chair. Brian, on page 2, it says the last paragraph, Mound Road from south of I-696 and to north of M59. But it actually goes from north of 696, right? Is this a typo, or is that how it's referred? And then my second question is there any plan to go south of 696 to 8 Mile?
The actual connection point is just north of 10 Mile Road, which is physically just south of 696 Expressway.
Okay.
So there's on and off ramps that on the south side of the expressway, and there's a break in the pavement type from asphalt to concrete. That's where we're starting the project, which is just north of 10 Mile, and that goes all the way to M59.
Okay, so is there any plan to go south of 10 Mile? And why wasn't that part of the Mound Road ever considered in this project?
The natural progression of this size of a project, obviously we have 9 miles that we're constructing, which is a substantial cost. It made sense to go to the interchanges in the M Road. So I-696 to 696 was a natural beginning point and termination point. We do and are well aware of the condition and need for 8 to 10 Mile Road, and that is in our plans upcoming to do some, obviously, rehabilitation work and repairs in that section also.
Okay, thank you.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Zinner.
Thank you, Chair. Brian, do you have any other costs that you have expect to come in? Will this be the last cost for that project? Where are we at with that? What else?
This would be, other than the construction contract itself, this should be the additional, the last additional, I guess, third-party agreement that we would have. I know that we have, as part of the restoration, that is going to be a separate contract. It's going to be a CMGC contract. The thought was, if we put it in the design-build project, the way the design-build project works is that the contractor has flexibility to install the minimum requirements sometimes. So I know there was an expression from City of Sterling Heights and Cities of Warren that they wanted the aesthetics to be something that they wanted to be able to have a little bit more control over as far as what's put in there. So we pulled that out. So there will be a restoration contract that will be coming along, independent of this project, but in conjunction and coordination with this project. So that is the only other additional cost that I'll be presenting in front of you. So we already have the contract with Dan's and their design build team. This is the construction, engineering, testing, inspection with our owner's rep, HNTB. And then there will be a subsequent landscaping project to come about subsequent to the end of this project.
So with that situation with these cities, they don't absorb that cost then in a project like this? No, apparently not.
This third-party agreement, it's total of 20+ million, but we have 60%, at this time, we have 60% federal participation, so the other 40% is split between us, the cities of Warren, and cities of Sterling Heights. So our percentage is 50% as the road department, and then the balance is 66 in 2/3 and
That's fine. That's good.
so 2/3 and 1/3 for the remaining
We don't need
balance.
that much commitment. All right.
I'm an engineer, I can't do math.
All right. Thank you very
Apparently.
much. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner
Commissioner.
Nard, did you wish to speak? You were here and you're gone. Oh, thank you. Commissioner Van Sickle.
Thank you, Chair. Brian, has there been any thought about making the contractor responsible for maintenance of the road and holding some monies in escrow?
We do have, I mean, they do supply bonds as far as this project is concerned. There is no long-term maintenance plan or program set up for this type of delivery method. I know that's an option in the beginning to try and do that process, and I think the state is entertaining that or doing that on one of their projects on I-75. This was more of a straightforward design build project and doesn't have a 20 or 25-year maintenance and warranty program with that.
Because I use Mound Road a lot, and it's been rebuilt and reworked and rebuilt and reworked. Why can't we get it once and done? I think if the contractor was responsible for the road, he might do a little bit better job.
Well, there is a warranty, it's just not the maintenance end of it. There's a warranty through this design build process. It's just not the maintenance, costs over 20 or 25 years. That's not part of this design build process. So there is a warranty, it's just not the maintenance end of it.
Do we have warranties on other roads already in place?
We have current contracts that have warranties in them. I can say that we don't have, I don't think, any previous last 5 or 10 years contracts that we would have a warranty on.
So we've never collected on a warranty?
No. We haven't had projects in the past that have been built that are under current warranty. We have current projects that are being built that have warranties associated with them, because that's a fairly recent thing as far as warranties are concerned with Macomb County.
I'd like to see the contractor held a little bit more responsible for their work so that nobody's tempted to cut any corners or anything. Not that anybody ever does.
That's why we have the owner's representation. I know we're not doing it ourselves, but the owner's representation accounts for testing, inspection, to make sure that they comply with the requirements of the contract.
Good. Thank you very much. Thank you, Chair.
Commissioner.
Thank you. Second round, Commissioner Farrington.
Thank you, Brian. Commissioner Van Sickle brought up something, I'm just curious. I've lived there my whole life as well, and that road has been redone multiple times, including the full cement rebuild that's now all been torn up. So with those heavy, heavy trucks that go up and down constantly on that road, what's the estimate for your usage where it's above average still? On the new rebuild.
We're expecting a 30+ year lifespan.
So that's more than the last rebuild?
Typically, it's a 20-year.
Yeah, that was about 20
Yes.
years, probably.
So-
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Seeing no other speakers, what? Did he? Joe, you just
Thank you,
jumped
Chair.
on. Go
Last
right
second
ahead.
there.
You have the floor.
Brian, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Quick question, when you talk about the lifespan, is this going to be built with cement or asphalt?
Concrete.
Okay. I've noticed that some roads have been going asphalt and some have been going concrete. Is there a reason why this was determined to go with concrete?
It's kind of potato. The lifespan and durability of concrete, even though it has an initial cost that is more expensive, has a more durable lifespan. Using asphalt, it's a little less expensive in the beginning, but you have to do more fixes along the way. So I guess it's, preference, but the best product, I think, at this time for this section of corridor, so that we don't have to get into traffic and affect, obviously, just-in-time deliveries and the commercial traffic and industrial traffic along that corridor, is to put more money up front to build the better, more durable, longer lifespan product now versus being able to go in and do fixes along the way, but it's still interfering with traffic and deliveries and such, so.
And is the weight span relative, I mean, there's a lot of commercial vehicles that go down mountains, so I would assume that concrete can hold more weight than asphalt?
That is correct. There's factors of safety built into whatever cross-section will be designed. That's
Great.
correct.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Commissioner.
Commissioner Van Sickle.
Thank you, Chair. Brian, I do have a request. On Metro Parkway in Sterling Heights, they laid out the manhole covers right where the tire lanes go. So you go thump, 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 thump. It would seem that pounding on those manhole covers and the structure underneath would be more wear and tear than if they put the manhole covers straddling the lanes or dead center in the lanes. I don't know if anything comes of your thoughts going to the planning committee, but can anything be done about getting the darn manhole covers not in the driving lanes?
We traditionally don't prefer structures in the wheel paths. Yes, it creates an issue with rideability, smoothness, and such. So when we design projects, we don't typically design projects. Sometimes you might have the need because of location or underground utilities or such to put various structures that might fall within the wheel path, but we don't prefer and don't design that way.
Well, I was just thinking before the design might be the better time to mention it than after the design.
Correct.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Seeing no other speakers, a motion for approval is in order.
Chair, are you looking for an approval to move this to full board, or are you looking for full board approval at this committee?
Full board approval at this committee.
I'll make that motion.
Support Farrington.
I have a motion by Commissioner Romano, supported by Commissioner Farrington. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, please vote.
Motion passes 12-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners. Take care.
Thank you, Brian. Next item is presentation. We have Yoga at the Hill 2021 report. Laura's going to jump out of a room back here somewhere. Motion to proceed with presentation.
Support by Nard.
Motion by Commissioner Kraft, supported by Commissioner Nard.
Hi, Commissioners. As far as I know, the presentation still is not showing, but if you go to the agenda, you can view it in PowerPoint, or I printed a hard copy and placed at each of your desks just to follow along. It's just a brief 4-slide summary of our annual Yoga at the Hill event. This year, it took place on Saturday, June 12th at Freedom Hill. We did, as we have in years past, 2 classes simultaneously, one under the main pavilion and then one under the small pavilion. This year we offered basic, intermediate, chair, and kids yoga. And we, to the next slide, the quick stats. This year we had 360 people pre-register. It was our largest amount of people that pre-registered for any of our 6 Yoga at the Hill events. We also had an estimate of 17 people that just walked up and registered rather than pre-registering ahead of time. And we also were able to raffle off 18 prizes this year. Those were donated by yourselves, and Bodhi Seed Yoga also donated 3 prizes themselves. Each year, so far, we have worked with Bodhi Seed Yoga. We partner with them. They supply the teacher volunteers and the support, and we supply the logistics and the coordination of it on our end. We also, each year so far, have used DJ Dave Malloy, so we want to give a special thanks to him. He is very used to our situation and sets himself up and takes it all down and just provides a great way to make sure we're reaching everybody as far back in the pavilion as we went. This year, we went all the way to the back. So it was a great response this year. Last year, we had done it virtually, so we can't really compare last year to this year. But over the course of the 6 years, Yoga at the Hill 2021 was by far our most well-attended event. Typically, for the commissioners that are new, we usually have resource providers that provide like a U along the back with tables and provide information, and they're not able to sell anything, but they can show their products, things like that. And we didn't do this year because when we were in the planning process, we weren't sure with COVID restrictions if we would be able to accommodate that. So it worked out because this year we ended up having people practicing yoga all the way to the back. So that has given us something to look for next year, to place our resource providers elsewhere so that we can plan on the same, if not more, people attending next year's event. There were over 400 people between our pre-registrations, the walk-ups, our staff, and volunteers. We had volunteers here from the board office, and there were a handful from other county departments. We always put out an email, so it's nice to have county employees from different departments also join us and help us with our event. Social media, as it has been in the past, was our best source of advertisement. We basically do most of it on Facebook, but there are other things that we try to do. This year, obviously, we had some major internal changes in our office. We also had other major changes as far as the registration platform. Typically, that's handled by BODC. This year, we took it on ourselves. And the actual website was moved from, it was connected to BODC's website, and it was moved to our own Macomb County website. So we had additional responsibilities, but that all seemed to go very smooth and flawless, even with our staff changeover. We plan to continue using the social media, and we also ask for email addresses when people register so that we can follow up and remind them of future events when they come out, if they're willing to receive emails from us. Freedom Hill County Park continues to be an excellent location for this. It's a county facility. We found in the past that a lot of times it's people's first experience coming to Freedom Hill. So it's a great way to get people there that have never been there before. It's a county facility, and it's kind of centrally located in the county. We have been brainstorming ideas to make Yoga at the Hill even bigger and make it a health and wellness day, expanding on just outside of just yoga. Bringing back the resource providers, perhaps having something, another physical activity other than yoga, health and wellness for the mind and body. So we're brainstorming that and could potentially do that as soon as next year. We also have been considering smaller companion events throughout the year, like doing one in late summer at different locations throughout the county to kind of hit the northern end, the southern end, east and west, and maybe not make those as big, but just offer something throughout the year. If anything, we've learned the last year, people are looking for events that they can do. Outdoor yoga has become a big deal this year. We were kind of ahead of the curve with that since this was our 6th year, but it would be nice to have something to continually offer the community since there are other ways people can attend yoga outside. If any commissioners have any input or ideas as far as the main Yoga at the Hill event or the companion ones, please feel free to share them with us. We would love to know. Oh, and lastly, our Yoga at the Hill t-shirts, they have been a hot commodity each year. Typically, we would give them away to people that pre-registered. That was the only way to get one. Last year, since we did not give away t-shirts and we were virtual, we were able to get more this year. So everyone that attended, walk up and pre-register, received a t-shirt. And that's something that's kind of set us apart from other yoga events in the community and offered places because of that. People are very excited about it. They ask ahead of time what color it's going to be. People that were suddenly unable to make it will call after and want a t-shirt. And it's great advertising for us when people wear them. This year we also gave Yoga at the Hill masks, and everyone received a granola bar and a water bottle. So we were able to bring it back to what we had 2 years ago and now have ideas and plans to make it bigger and better and hopefully expand for future years. So if anyone has any questions, I hopefully will have the answer for you.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you for all that you and the entire staff and Crystal have done. Commissioner Song.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for that presentation. I also want to thank the staff and volunteers and Courtney, who's not with us anymore, for organizing it. That was my first year attending it, and I brought my 2 kids. They didn't want to do yoga at first. They were kind of shy and embarrassed, but when they saw the other kids were, on their hands and knees, and I participated with the kids too, because I'm not that flexible. So we had a wonderful time for our first year. I do have some questions. Since we did the registration, do we have any stats on what cities or districts that the participants came from?
We, I don't have them offhand, but we did, when we did registration, we asked for an address. Some people did not provide one, or they only provided a street, but I can pull that information and put it in a chart for you if you'd like to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to see that. Then we can see, we can kind of have a competition to see who gets more constituents to come out. And then do we have a post-event summary survey for participants? Like, was there a follow-up email that
Not
asked
this year.
for
We've done it
feedback?
previously, and it did provide a wealth of information. It was actually very insightful. The reason we didn't do it this year is because we have to ask everyone if we can send them an email after. The last time we did have some people respond and say that they hadn't signed up to receive emails from us. And this year, with all the changeover, we didn't include that line on our registration, so we did not send out a follow-up email. But it is something we've done in the past, and we would definitely do it in the future because it did help us determine which classes to offer and what people were interested in.
Absolutely. And, even though we had such a wonderful turnout, I did run into some people who saw us post it afterwards and said they didn't know that it was going on. And so they asked, to be notified in the future about Yoga on the Hill.
Right.
And so is there any plan to maybe do like twice a year? You talked a little bit about doing smaller events, but
Yeah.
My last question is what would be the cost to put something like this together?
Typically, with our resource providers, they would pay a fee to have a table at the event, and that covered all the cost. The raffle prizes are donated. Our only main cost usually is the T-shirts, and that was always covered by the resource provider. So luckily, this event pretty much would pay for itself each year. As far as you mentioned getting notified ahead of time, now that we have the Yoga at the Hill on our county website, we could potentially set up something where they could visit that page all year long and sign up for notifications. Like our Green Schools program, they can go to our website and sign right up, or for the Board of Commissioners, we have our own Yoga at the Hill email address. It's on our own website now. Those are things we would be able to do as opposed to previous years when it wasn't through our own website.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Chairman Brown.
Thank you. Thank you for putting on a good job, another excellent show, and thank you to the staff and the families. Our staff had many family members out there supporting the team as well. It was really a team effort out there. We're really proud to see everybody work together, and commissioners as well. Everybody pitched in to help out, and it was an outstanding day. Going to Commissioner Mize, some people didn't know. It's hard to tell everyone what's going on, but as we're, right now we're without communication staff, but working on bringing communication people on board to help us amplify the message and work collectively with all of us to put ideas out, to push this information out to everyone, and give us all more tools individually to use to help market the things that we all do here on this board, to help us push the good news out. Because there's so much that we do that is good, like these programs, and do expand it. And we were stretched so thin with down half staff. We had some volunteers that came in and helped, even though they had left us. But so it was just a proud moment for us, despite the short staff that we were. So outstanding. And I'm going to make this announcement right now, that I'm going to offer yoga in the barn in northern Macomb County if anyone wants to come out. And so we'll put that up. So put that on the list of things to do, and give you all something to look forward to. Moo, moo, moo. All right. Thank you.
I don't even know how to comment to that, but Commissioner Romano.
Thank you, Chair. Great event. It was a lot of fun. I think the most exciting part of the whole event was watching Commissioner Kraft do the dog leg. That was just part of the best. That was the best part. But just a suggestion, Laura, you mentioned getting this out. We had, as you mentioned, you had two different, in fact, you had, 3 sites going? Or 2 sites?
2.
2. I wondered if possibly the seniors might be interested in this, where they pick them up from the senior homes, not as actively as what the yoga is that I saw, but maybe something less strenuous that they might be interested in. They bring them in buses. It's an event for them to come to. Besides that, they get free stuff, and seniors love free stuff, so it might work out really good. Just a thought. Great event. Really enjoyed myself. Thank you. That's all I have. Thank you, Chair.
Laura, we have a picture, speaking of Commissioner Kraft, in the coffee room there. If you've got one that can replace that, that would be greatly appreciated.
I'll look through, see what we have.
Commissioners enter. Barb, would you get closer to the microphone, please? Thank you.
With what Commissioner Romano's suggesting, we might have to have a senior day. That's a lot of activity and that might have to have a senior day. Not a senior moment, just a senior day. You guys did a fabulous job.
Thank you.
All day for you guys to do that on your day off. We might have to coordinate days off during the week for them if it's an all-day event. Great job.
Thanks.
Thank you. Seeing no other speakers, please vote to receive and file the presentation. And again, thank you, Laura.
Motion passes 12-0.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is proclamation, a proclamation recognizing the first Wednesday in August as voter registration day. Motion to refer to full board.
Matusik moves.
I have a motion by Commissioner Matuzak, supported by Commissioner Wallace. Commissioner Nard, would you like to speak on your proclamation?
Yes. I just thought this was a good idea because during this past election, I had a chance to talk to young people ages 16 to 17. They were getting ready to vote, but I had a little forum with them, and some of them were Republicans, some were Democrats, some were, I guess they were independents, you can say, and they had some really strong views about the country, about the different political issues, and I mean, I learned a lot. So I thought this was important when I found out that when they register for their driver's licenses or their IDs, that they're automatically registered to vote, and they didn't know that either. So now that that's here, I want to just inform everybody and let them know that you're registered to vote now, so you can take part in, our political process and in our country's affairs. So I just thought this was a really good thing. I'd like to join in with the rest of the world, the rest of the country, and let these young people know they are citizens and they can vote, and they have a voice and they can use it now.
Thank you. Seeing no speakers, please vote.
That motion passes 12-0.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is new business. One announcement for all commissioners. The final draft of the BOC rules was completed by the work group and will be emailed to all of you tomorrow and placed on next month's agenda for approval, so please take the opportunity to read through the rules. And I personally would like to thank Commissioner Kraft, Commissioner Kleinfeld, who's not here, as part of a very diligent, hardworking work group. And if anybody's got any questions, please call Phil. Anyone else under new business? Seeing none?
Chair, I do have something.
Commissioner
Song. Yes, I just wanted to share with everyone that over the holiday weekend, the former Centerline Mayor, Mary Zielinski, did pass away. And so my condolences go out to her husband and family. And if you could just join me for a moment of silence.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
And thank you for that reminder. I served with Mary Ann on the Southeast Macomb Sanitary and Disposal District, and boy, was she a diligent person when it came to finances. So my condolences to the family as well. Anyone else under new business?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
just a small thing.
Am I missing
As someone who's
something?
facing the windows, what exactly are the emergency procedures when we're up here? This is actually a serious question. This happens, storms roll in, and it's like if all of a sudden a tornado was happening, what is our procedures in this building?
Julie, you keep asking those questions. I'm going to defer to Crystal.
I think Chair Brown.
You go outside the door, go down the ladder on a rope out down the building.
I was at a full board meeting here when we had a tornado warning. Do you remember that? We go down to the tunnel. Yeah.
Using the stairs.
The stairs, yeah.
Yeah, use the stairs.
I don't see any funnel clouds, but I was just.
Well, I was hoping that was going to be my next question. Are you seeing something we're not?
We felt this building move a couple times.
Joe. Yeah. Do we have any other new business?
Yes, Chair. I just wanted to mention, Mayor Fouts is having an event, the home that blew up on Shaner near, I believe it's near Hoover. There were 10 families affected, so they'll be collecting all kind of items, clothing, food, and he'll have it set up where you can come to the Civic Center and bring in donations to help those families.
Thank you. Tragic event at worst. Seeing no one else, actually, I didn't see any of you on here on the speakers button, but that's okay. Next item is our second of 2 public participation. This one's for any issues, max 3 minutes. Anyone using profane language or derogatory statements will be called out of order. Anyone wish to be heard on the second? You get your shot, John. Hearing of the public. Seeing none, we will move on. A motion is in order for closed session to discuss pending litigation, United States Bankruptcy Court, Reuben and Angela Davis, case number 1846093. John Shapka, Corp. Counsel.
I'll make the motion
in
to go
order
to closed
go
session.
into closed session.
Support by Nard.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Farrington, supported by Commissioner Nard. Please vote.
Motion passes 12-0.
Thank you,
you.
Mr. Shapka, for doing.
That's the next agenda item. Next agenda item is recommendation, settlement agreement, U.S. Bankruptcy Court, Reuben and Angela Davis, case number 18-46093. We need a motion to refer to full board. Motion by Romano, supported by Kraft. All those in favor, please vote.
That motion passes 11-1 with Commissioner Song voting no.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion, support.
Support
Please vote.
Zinner.
It looks like everybody needs to be safe driving home. Even though we may not have a tornado, we have a monsoon out there.
My vote didn't come up.
Well, then vote verbally.
Vote to adjourn.
That's okay. Hey, give Crystal a break. This is the first time she's had to do this. There you go. Now you got it up, Joe. You better vote.
Or you can't leave.
Correct. Meeting adjourned.
Great meeting.
Hope my pontoon